Most women over 40 aren't lacking experience, they're lacking visibility. And today's guest has built multiple businesses, helped thousands of women grow online, and teaches people how to stop hiding and start owning their expertise, especially on Instagram. So if you've ever thought, who would listen to me? I'm too old to start, or I don't even know how to market myself online, this episode is going to challenge that thinking fast. Welcome back to the Own Your Shift podcast. And today I'm joined by Sue B. Zimmermn, entrepreneur, speaker, business coach, and widely known as the Instagram expert. Sue has launched 18 businesses, built $1 million company at 22, and now helps women grow visibly, grow confidence and income through social media and personal branding. Sue, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here. I love what you said at the very beginning. And I always say it's not too late and you're not too old.
No, I love that. And I think as we start getting older ourselves, it really resonates more and more. I think one of the biggest lies, I guess, we're ever told as young adults is that we think we're going to have it together as we get older. You just keep aging. And I think a lot of things don't change unless you consciously try to change them.
100%. Yeah.
For the listeners that don't know you, you've built multiple businesses over decades. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your story? And was entrepreneurship always in you? Was it something you knew?
Yes. It was in me because my dad owned an automobile parts store. And I used to go to that store to be with him because he worked so hard. And on Saturdays I could go. So I really was exposed to the true essence of customers coming into your establishment and building relationships with people authentically and doing things for them, knowing that you wanted them to be a lifelong customer. So I used to file mufflers and distributors and sweep the wooden floor and greet the customers. And I can still remember what it smelled like in there as a little girl. So that was watching my dad with his customers. And my dad taught me when I was in the store to how to respect your money by folding it and having it all go the same way when it's in your wallet and uncrinkle anything that's crinkled, because your relationship with money should be good and healthy and intentional. And so there's a lot more lessons there. But fast forward, I had my first business as a 13-year-old selling hand-painted barrettes because I was able to use the model paint that he had at the store to paint barrettes. And I used to paint emojis on barrettes before emojis existed, like smiley faces, rainbows, strawberries. And I sold them at recess, even though I wasn't supposed to, because I am a rule breaker and I am that person that asks for permission. I don't ask for permission. I ask for forgiveness. And it served me well. And I went off to college. I have a degree in nutrition, really heart-centered around health and movement and mobility, especially now as I'm aging, like you said, but it's always been in me and a part of me. And that a big part of my community is attracted to that from the visibility I give with the workouts I do as the backdrop of the content I create. And when I graduated, the job I was offered fell through. So I started my own business. And that's when I started this $1 million business you mentioned, which was hand painting boxer shorts, but then turned into silk screening them back in the 80s when it was just a thing. People were starting to wear it as outerwear. And I got licenses with Disney, with The Simpsons. I learned about wholesale, retail, manufacturing. I went to our manufacturers in North Carolina. I went to New York to the sales offices to buy. So I quickly got schooled in business and the nuances of business without having a degree in it. And, I had a heart and a passion and very strong determination, but I also had a trend that took off very, very quickly. And we did $1 million in sales. So I was not a millionaire, but that mindset around money and success at a young age really catapulted the next business and the next and the next, and highlighted businesses from there. Just to share with your audience, which I think are exciting, is that I know how to catch trends and opportunities. I see things before the world sees things. And I'm very creative and artistic, and I taught art classes. So one of my businesses was scrapbooking and teaching scrapbooking. And I was on QVC twice for this product that my partner and I created and did really, really well. We were asked back, and that was another kind of confidence builder because that's live TV. So talk about being nervous. Like that was the most nervous I ever was
Mhm.
in any recording studio. And I had to go to QVC school. It was a thing. I was like Joy, the movie Joy. Um, and then I got into Instagram. I got into Instagram because I had a store here on Cape Cod in Massachusetts where I live. And I was selling jewelry, clothing, and accessories, all with a Cape Cod, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard vibe. And the success I had from using Instagram that my twins introduced me to, and they didn't want me to be on it, really brought traffic into my store. And from the geotags, from the hashtags, and my sales increased tremendously, enough so that I'm like, wait, this is a lot easier than what I was doing with sandwich boards and printed things and spending money on ads. And I went to a conference out in California and I learned all about the online market space and how you can teach and make money from what you know, your knowledge, your wisdom, your experience. So, as a successful entrepreneur, I took all of that in and I realized I wanted to teach Instagram. And I've been doing this for 15 years. So, it's been a while. It's been a hot second. And
Mhm.
and it's exciting for me because I've built a thriving business, community, opportunity, paid keynote speaker, um, and just really have ridden the wave of what is working now and knowing that things shift and change. And I'm very nimble and I'm able to morph into opportunities based on what's happening out in the world and in the online space. And I know that that's not normal for a lot of people.
Mhm.
It was long winded,
There's
but I hope that helps.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's so much to unpack there and so many great things that you shared really. Even just starting from your first experience, how unique one that was. So not only were you in working with your father in a business, but also automotive. So that's not typically somewhere where you would see a lot of females in. So you were exposed to more of a male dominant space and then still
Mhm.
kind of felt, I guess, belonged or seen there. Like your dad took you in, he exposed you to those things. So that already is kind of an experience that lots of people don't have. And then even the thought that you were knowing it was his business, that you were exposed to entrepreneurship that way. And I guess it again, it's like kind of like the stories we tell ourselves because that's how you framed it. I feel like now in the world that we live in, brick and mortar businesses or businesses like lots of parents have or had, especially, back 20, 30 years ago, many people had their own businesses, but it wasn't viewed as entrepreneurship. We've kind
Right.
of, remolded what we see entrepreneurship as almost only being a service or online, but not necessarily something as brick and mortar as like an automotive shop.
Mhm.
And then as you continue on, I mean, you've pivoted so many times. Um, and in every time you pivot, you've kind of reinvented yourself. So why do
Yeah.
you think so many women and people in general struggle with reinvention, especially later in life? I think we get really stuck in
Yeah.
this is who I am.
Yes, and I think people get complacent and comfortable with what they know and what they've done, and anything new could feel difficult. I love the unknown of the next chapter, of the next opportunity. It excites me. I've never been shy of shutting down a business and moving into the next one. I know when to stop is the thing. I know when to stop based on the market isn't responding like it used to, or where I'm in debt. Like one of my
Hmm.
businesses, my scrapbook business, my partner and I did not see eye to eye, and I was in debt in that business, and I knew it didn't feel good. My kids were still young, and I didn't want that anymore. So we parted ways, and I reinvented myself. And again, with that came um, a lot of energy around like I can do this without someone. I am capable. I see this as an opportunity, and I'm that entrepreneur that I can visualize where things are going, and I always get there. I always
Hmm.
get to the success I want. I'll give you an example. So now I'm really into Substack for many reasons. I love the
Hmm.
synergy with Instagram. I love the creative aspect of long form, short form video, lives, photos, the community, the energy. And I'm an early adopter on every social platform, always have been. And so I wanted to open up my reach and exposure to a new audience, one that would feel good. And I'm really sick of email marketing and campaigns and funnels and all of that.
Hmm.
The old way, like, is what I'm saying. And with Substack, it's brought life to me, my business, as a business coach, as a business strategist, as someone who does in-person masterminds, like really new energy, new community. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, once I get 25 paid subscribers, I'm going to do a masterclass. Like that was my goal. And as of today, recording May 20th, 2026, I have 26 paid subscribers
Mm.
because
Congratulations.
I always reach my goal, and then I over deliver information and support to those who are attracted to what I do. And so a paid subscriber on Substack for me, it's like $10 a month or $100 a year to have my podcast in their ear and my tips of soulfully selling, how to sell from the soul. Because at the core of who I am, I'm a great salesperson. I teach people how to sell with confidence. And I use Instagram as a tool to teach you how to do that for sure. So I was able to create this whole energy, this whole community. And to your to your point of like, how do you know when to shift? And is there excitement and around that shift, or are you doubting it? I never doubt it. I always
Mhm.
lean in wide, eyes wide open, and knowing there is opportunity on the other side.
You
And
did
so,
mention that you sometimes walk away from things or you just also know when to quit. So it's not like every idea you've had has turned into success.
right,
Um,
100%.
for,
Yeah, yeah,
for people listening,
yes.
how do you know that like something isn't working, or maybe you're like giving up too soon, or you're not really trying? Like I do think a lot of people put like half-hearted effort into some things. Either they're just trying to prove a point that something doesn't work, or they can't do it, or they're scared of success, which I think is a huge one for many women in particular, about putting, going on their own or putting all eggs in one basket and trying to be successful. They don't necessarily know how to manage that.
Yes.
Or if you're just giving up.
Yeah. And so usually, it's the core of your emotions and being emotionally intelligent, like how things make you feel.
Hmm.
And for me, if something isn't working the way that I thought it would, I do a deep assessment of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and how could I shift doing that. I'm specifically right now talking about online marketing, online space, different content ideas, different ways to build community and ultimately serve, making money while serving. And so when I started Substack, I didn't have it all figured out. It was new and challenging. And I'm like, am I really going to make something exciting happen here? And I'm in it for the long game. But from what I'm hearing, like starting in August and already having, only having 311 subscribers, my conversion rate on this to have the paid has been a lot higher than most people that have thousands of subscribers. So I know the content that I'm sharing is landing.
Hmm.
But it wasn't always landing. Like I had to make some shifts. And so the shift I made there is, who do I want to show up on Substack that is different than where I show up on Instagram? And who am I at the core? Like it's a lot of self reflection of who I am at the core. And at the core of who I am is teaching women how to sell with confidence, how to soulfully sell where it doesn't feel salesy or yucky or performative, but just knowing that the person that you're talking to really needs the thing that you have to offer. And how do you create language and curiosity around that? So that excited me because most women, midlife and older,
Hmm.
don't feel comfortable selling, don't have the tools to sell, don't have the confidence, don't have the language, don't have the offer, um, don't understand it, get caught up in all the techie stuff, and you don't need all the techie stuff to make money. I, with a different energy, I think, than most people that have had my kind of online visibility do.
Hmm. Now, do you find, like, I know when I'm speaking with women and sometimes they're looking to break out to different avenues and using social media and trying to either sell a product, the biggest hesitation or concerns from them is maybe the integration into real life. Do you see that when you're coaching women? Like they feel like they're doing this all online, but they don't want to sell to their close friends or family, especially if their social network or friends all are in traditional jobs, quote unquote, right? Like, they're going to an office or doing these things and they're kind of the first in their peer group to do something online and they feel really judged, I guess, maybe starting something or feeling they need to explain themselves. I think that's even harder as women get older. How do you work with women in midlife to help them own those shifts and differentiate between what they're doing online as a business, as them, the brand, and who they are outside of that as, them, the friend or the mother or the parent?
I really think that it's all interconnected, and the person online should literally be the person to the friend, the mother, the sister, the
Hmm.
whoever. And it's the same language, it's the same energy. It's to me, it's an extension of my personality. And I use the same language in person I do online. I want people to feel like they're sitting right next to me. It's never performative. I don't always look perfect.
Hmm.
Uh, I really want people to feel the energy of Subi online, and that is a. If anyone that works with me says, "Oh my," or sees me when I speak on stage, "Oh my God, you really are that person that I see online." I'm like, "Well, who else would I be?"
Yeah.
So I feel like that connection is important so that it everything people see is authentic.
Hmm. So for someone listening that feels overwhelmed by social media, where do they start? Like what do you feel right now is, wasting people's time or what is a waste of time and what actually are some small things that kind of move the needle for someone that's trying to grow their Instagram?
Yeah, well, one thing that I did when I first started in this online space, because I'm very visual, I drew on paper, like at the middle, who am I? Like Subi. And then I
Hmm.
had all these extensions. I like to pollinate and build colonies and community. Like I use the bee as a kind of like this reference to I buzz around and love to travel. I like what are the things, your interests, your values, your dreams that you want, and kind of do this visual extension. So I would draw visually because I think that way. And how can all these stay connected online through content and through offerings and the wording and not, yes, you want to have a signature style, and my signature style is typically bright colors and hats, like that, and movement, because I'm all about mobility moves. And so people say I inspire them, people say I motivate them, people say I educate them, people say they want to be at my masterminds. Like how can you attract the energy you want to serve? And so yeah, I just think writing it out, doing a brain dump. A lot of people call it a brain dump. I called it a visual like extension of what I desired and wanted. And I have manifested every single thing, every one of those extensions I have had happen for me in my life. Like whether it's the online course I created or being a paid keynote speaker without a book, or um, being contributing to books and being a
Hmm.
contributor expert to different things. And yeah, I mean, building community, like all the things I desired. I'm just relentless. I don't stop till I get what I want. And I have a beautiful, I want to say this to everyone, lifestyle. Like work-life balance is so important to me. I am not working all
Hmm.
day. I am balanced all day. And I think that's important for people to hear because I've been doing this for so long.
So people listening, and I mean, they hear that, and some people might just think, well, that's great for you, right? But I still like, who is your avatar? Who is the woman that you're helping? What is it that you mainly help them do?
Yeah.
And does it work for most listeners that are looking to get into the space, or is it you seem to be get really specific with
Yeah,
your
well, I am. I've
visions?
dialed it. Yeah, I've dialed in to my avatar being women midlife and older, and
Hmm.
I help them turn conversations into opportunities and help them build. real relationships that lead to revenue without being uncomfortable or, salesy and through sharing on social, through the Instagram direct message strategies, and really connected to, like, just the connection driven to growth. Like, it's all growth. And so that is my person. And
Mhm.
with all that being said, most people need help with content or sales or branding or strategy. Overthink and over I think most people just overthink the simplicity of what this really is at the core, which is being who you are unapologetically, doing what you love, the thing that brings you joy, and figuring out the language around that to attract the people you want to serve.
Mhm. So do you think social media has made women more empowered, or do you think it's, kind of made them more insecure just with all this comparison?
I think both of those can be true at the same time.
Mhm.
I think online marketing gives you an opportunity to have reach expansion across the globe if you want it. The more you show up, the more people see you, hear you, trust you, and the more you stay top of mind, the more opportunities you have. That visibility piece, like, I am highly visible. If you Google my name, I come up all over the internet.
Mhm.
And that's been from doing YouTube videos and blogs and all the things that I've done through the years. And ChatGTP even recognizes me as an expert. And I got a paid speaking gig in Chicago to dentists that resulted in $10,000 in revenue because I showed up in ChatGTP on a search. So it is opportunistic. There are keywords, there are meta tags, there are strategies that, when you lean into video and people hearing you, your voice, and seeing you, it just gives you more opportunities than hiding
Mhm.
behind AI or filters or photos. It's just, and I realize that a lot of people aren't comfortable with that. So how do you
Yeah,
get comfortable with that?
yeah.
And I understood some key important things. One is to always be in good lighting, and two is to have good audio. So hence the mic, hence the light coming in from my
Mhm.
window. And it makes for a better experience. Back in the day, way back in the day, I had my business partner wear like large post-it notes on her body in front of me so I could read
Mm.
that. Then I got really savvy and I put little sticky post-it notes on my phone that you couldn't see, but I could see when I was doing ads. And then lo and behold came some great teleprompter apps that I could just read on my phone. And now in the tool Edits, Instagram's editing app, you can upload a script and put it there to
Mhm.
transcribe. I do not have anything scripted, and I haven't in the past 3 years. I mean, unless I was doing ads, but I just really know what to say and what not to say concisely, and that is a skill. And I've been flexing that muscle on repeat over and over again, and that is the only way to get better. Just like when you go to the gym.
Yeah. Well, and I always say kind of life shifts, whether we're ready or not, right? Like it's always the only thing we can count on is change. What do you think was one pivotal time or shift that you made that kind of changed everything for you? Like, was there a singular aha moment that just changed the trajectory that you think that if that didn't happen, maybe things would have been different?
Yeah, well, my most recent, I will say, there's two things. My business partner, her and her wife had a baby a year ago, October, and we've been doing this together for 15 years. And it was just ready for both of us to enter into a new chapter. And so, with that, at the time I had 5 employees. So I no longer have employees. I only have a contractor who's been with me almost 10 years. Kate, she's my virtual assistant. She handles everything. And I love the simplicity of my life right now without having all of the launch life. And so simplifying has been a really big thing for me. And I've proved to myself that I can be successful without a team. I'm making more money now on my own than I was personally in the 15 years that I had a business, because I paid my employees really well and they all had 401ks and I took care of them. And now I'm like, wow, this is simpler and I'm making more money and I'm having more fun and I'm doing what I want on my own terms. So growing and having more and more of a team isn't necessarily always the answer. It's always leaning into how are you feeling about what you're doing. And then with that said, there's one more thing I think your audience will appreciate, which is one of my coaching clients introduced me to this clean, climate curated skincare line on our call. She wanted me to help her create a content strategy, and I'm listening. Like, tell
Hmm.
me more because I want these products. Like, and she's like, well, Sue, you are such a great salesperson. You should become an affiliate. It's only $50 and then you get a 20% discount. I'm like, sign me up. I'm getting these products and I love them. They're from Canada and they've been in business 10 years and they just hit the US. And so now I am a part of this amazing company. One of the co-CEOs was my babysitter 30
Oh,
years ago
wow.
and for my twins. And I'm like, now I have this other revenue stream, which is product based, but it's based on like
Hmm.
values that I have with clean beauty products. And I just am obsessed with these products. And so I'm telling everyone about it in person, online, and my content looks a little different, but I'm also using it as a teaching lesson for people on what you need to do if you want to sell the products that you're selling. Because before that, I was selling information and now I'm selling products. And it's really fun.
Well, you can tell by the way you even speak about it, right? Like you light up, so you know it's something that you're enjoying, which is probably part of
Yeah.
the secret as well, right? You have to love it.
You have to
Um,
believe in what you're selling. It's never for the money with me. It's always because I'm so excited about the thing. That's why I sold the most Girl Scout cookies.
mhm. So, what would you say to the woman that feels like they're behind, or they think it's too late for them to start because they're in their 40s and they're like, I don't even know how to use social media barely, other than to do a heart.
Listen, I am 63. So I
Wow,
don't,
wow, the skincare is working.
it is working, girl. I know people say that to me all the time. Like,
Yeah, you
wait,
look
no way.
incredible.
I don't say that often, but you've referenced age a couple times.
Hmm.
And when people hear how old I am, they're like, are you kidding me? You know more than my 30-year-old daughter or my 20-year-old
Yeah.
daughter. I'm like, yeah, I do. And, not everyone, but most women my age don't know nearly as much as I do. And
Hmm.
so there's this whole attraction to that energy around it. I see myself in you, or I want to see myself. I want to do what you do. So
They want to be where you're at when they're there, so
yeah.
they do know it's possible because you're leading the way.
Yeah. And I feel like I love being like a conscious leadership, a conscious leader. Women, this skincare line is women led. Like I'm all about
Hmm.
sustainability and all those values are a part of that, but also a part of me. And so women that just constantly say, I can't do it, it's too hard, I don't know what buttons to press. Well, yeah, you don't because you're not doing it regularly. You can't learn anything unless you do it. It's the action of doing. It's not learning one more thing, going through one more course, following one more person. It's like, what can I do today that's good for today? Like,
Hmm.
what is going to make me feel good today? For me, it's publishing a Substack article or teaching a master class. Or it's like, what is one thing that fills your cup and doesn't drain you that you can do today?
Yeah. One small actionable step, right? It's like anything, one day at a time and just one step at a time. And that's how things really,
Yeah.
really get finished. And I think that's kind of a great note to end on. I do have some rapid fire questions for you before we close.
Hey,
So the first one is, what's one business lesson you learned the hard way?
one business lesson I would learn the hard way is that if you're going to have a business partner, make sure it's 50-50. I had a 60-40 split and it did not feel good. But I will say the silver lining to that is when we were in debt, this is a company I was
Mm.
talking about, she had to pay 60% of the debt.
So it worked out maybe.
It worked out for me, but the energy is just not good when it's not equal.
What's something you wish more women stopped apologizing for?
Their age, their gray hair, their wrinkles, the way they sound. Like nobody cares. It's what you know and what you teach and what you do that they care more about.
What's one thing women need to stop doing if they want success?
They need to stop comparing themselves to other women and just lean into your own power.
What's your definition of success now versus 30 years ago?
I wake up every day and I have the freedom to choose what I do and who I do it with.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for listening. And if this episode of Own Your Shift hit you and the conversation resonated, share it with another woman who needs the reminder that it's not too late to reinvent herself, to build something meaningful, and to take up the space she deserves. And until next week, own your shift.